live.
We're live. That's the best bit, isn't it? We're live today because we want to talk about a super important topic, which is setting goals and smashing your goals and having a brilliant 2022. So Debbie, you were just going to say a quick thing before we go into the nitty-gritty.
Before we go into why you need to set goals and why we love it and why it's important. So we'd love you to come and set goals with us, me and Emmy. We're running a workshop on the morning of the 11th of January. We're going to help you do an audit. We're going to help you look at what worked and what didn't. We're going to help you think about your intentions for the year and what success looks like for you. And then we're going to set those all important goals. Plus, we're going to give you an accountability buddy so you can actually reach them and help you think about the actions you're going to take. So let's get into it. But I just want to put that there first and foremost. And if you're interested, we're going to pop a link in the comments at the end.
Yeah, and just to say that is super good value. It's a fraction of what we would normally charge for like our one-to-one consultancy, but we want to get as many people on board with us in January because we know that it's so important. The people that did the growth program, the people that have done this process with me before, they've all smashed their goals. They're all fully booked with work, and it's the same with Debbie and her clients. So it's so important to have that time to work on your business and to really think about what success means to you and to visualize it and make it happen. And we're going to do that with an amazing group of people. So we can't wait to have you join us. Why are you laughing?
Just like, this is amazing and it's brilliant, but it is. And I think a lot of the time people, maybe they half-heartedly make goals, or maybe they're too scared of making goals in case they don't reach them, or there's some kind of fear, isn't there? And well, I put it out there into the universe and I've got to do the work. But it's really difficult to grow or build a business if you don't really know what good looks like and you haven't really set those markers for success. Plus, I love celebrating. Yeah. And how can you celebrate stuff if you've not known if you've got there?
Exactly. So I think that's the thing, isn't it? We're going to help people create stretch goals that are goals that are super exciting, but also totally realistic and achievable. We were just talking earlier about how it's so important to have those SMART goals. So do come and join us. It's going to be fantastic. And
let's just talk about goal setting now and give away some of our amazing expertise for free.
Which is another thing we like to do. Okay, so I think we could start with, and obviously we're going to be covering this on our session. So first of all, it's kind of like looking, isn't it? We both are quite into like looking at data and auditing what's been working and what hasn't been working. And why is that important to do that?
Yeah, I love an audit, and it sounds quite dry, but I think we can learn a lot from what's gone past, what we've done previously, and really looking at what's worked and what's not over 2021. And essentially the main point of that is we can start ditching the things that haven't worked. So if you've been doing a particular thing and you feel like you've been slogging away at it and you wanted to have better results, but they've not given you the results you wanted, we can think, well, actually, you've kind of done that to death. Let's get rid of it. Let's look at what has worked and what's made you successful, what's made you feel good. And then how can we bring more of that into 2022 and kind of double down on it in a way? And I think a lot of the time, especially with goal setting, we tend to be looking forward all the time. So we're always kind of looking forward at what we can achieve. And I think not enough time is spent kind of just going, well, what have I already done? And also just congratulating yourself. Like 2021 has been a hell of a year, hasn't it? Like
it's been pretty tough. Yeah, I think it's been really tough for everyone.
Parenting and
parenting, hormones, all those other things. And I think that's really important, isn't it? To sort of look at what have you achieved and to congratulate yourself for that, given everything that's been going on in the world. But also to sort of look deeper, like what activities or what tactics were you doing? What's delivered growth? What has brought you success? What have you enjoyed? What have you not enjoyed? So that you can go into 2022 doing more of the activities, more of the tactics that are delivering a return and are working. And I think quite often people, like you said, we're so excited about the future that we don't, we don't necessarily take the time to do that piece of work, which is to say, what's worked well and what hasn't worked well, and to sort of look at the data as well. Like everyone has data in their business. Some people have a lot more data than others, but looking at where your profitable customers came from, you know, what your customer lifetime value is, what strategic partnerships worked, what things did you do in your business that really moved the needle, and what did you enjoy doing and what did you not enjoy doing, and, you know, what just sort of that diagnosis piece. And I think, you know, that's when I do the sort of the strategy work, marketing strategy and planning with my one-to-one clients, I spend a third of the time doing this sort of diagnosis audit, like what's going on in the market, what's going on with the competition, what are the industry trends, what's worked in your business, what hasn't worked in your business, what do your customers like, some, you know, research on your audience and all those kind of things. So I think we could definitely spend some time thinking about that before we go straight into 2022.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you've been running your business for several years, you've got loads of information, loads of data. You're not having to start from scratch, are you? You're kind of building on what has come before. And I think that's really important to know that, like, there's foundations to business and you're always building on what's gone on before. One of the tasks that I really like doing, that I do every year, is I look back through my Google Calendar and I pick one good thing that's happened in every month. And it's amazing how you forget what's happened in the year. You kind of go back to February and like, oh my God, I didn't even remember that I did that thing, or I got that piece of PR, or, you know, even I won an award, or whatever's going on at that time. And I think just spending that time and then giving yourself like a big congratulations is great. And that's data as well. And yeah, going and look at your Google Analytics, having a look at where your clients came from, having a look at, you know, maybe you spent an entire year spending loads of time on Instagram. Has that resulted in clients? You know, if not, why not? If it has, how could we do more of that? And I think oftentimes we're busy, not busy, I want to say busy fools, but that sounds mean. But we can busy ourselves with all the things that we feel like we need to do with our business, and they're not necessarily the things that are giving us the growth.
I think that's the thing also.
Thin, aren't we? We're doing too many things. And it's like, how can we, and I know that you talk about the mission critical a lot. It's like, what can we laser focus in on the things that we already know that's working, and maybe relax on the other stuff, because time is limited, isn't it?
We're all short on time, energy and money, and so it's about putting those resources to best use. And also, I think lots of people, they will tell you what you should be doing, but, you know, they're not you and they're not your business. They're maybe running a business in a different space, or they've got different ideal clients, or they don't have the strengths and weaknesses that you have. So I think it's really important to do that piece of work. Yeah, and so sort of say what's worked, what hasn't worked, what are we going to take into 2022. And then the other thing that's important is to think about what your goals are, isn't it? What do you want to achieve? And we were talking earlier before we joined this about SMART goals and why it's really important to have SMART goals. Do you want to talk a bit about that, Debbie?
Yeah, I think if you're not making SMART goals, I think that comes from the fear. If they're a little bit woolly and a little bit vague, I think it's generally that we don't want to pin ourselves down, because what if we don't reach them and then we don't feel successful and all of that stuff. But if they're not, you know, specific, measurable, attainable, is it relatable? I do get confused. And time bound. I know that the T is definitely time bound.
Realistic. Realistic.
How do we know if we've reached them? And it is like, you know, you can have some hard and fast goals. Like if you want to grow your Instagram account, how many to? If you want to build some strategic partnerships, how many partnerships would you want to build? How much income do you want to make? And also, you know, how many hours in the week do you want to work? Like that's a SMART measurable goal. It's like, actually, I only want to work 3.5 days a week, perhaps, whatever that looks like for you. But actually kind of, I think that something really powerful happens when we kind of put our stake in the ground and we own that and we say, this is what good looks like and this is what I'm working towards. Because then what I do with my clients, and I'm sure you do with yours, is we start to break that down. It's like, well, what are the actions to get us to this point? Like, what do we need to do each month or each day or each week to get us to that? Because sometimes goals can seem insurmountable and massive, but when we have that SMART endpoint, we can start to break it down. And when we break it down, it feels manageable.
Yeah, that's so true.
When it feels comfortable, isn't it? But if it's woolly, we can't break it down because it's not SMART. And then it's just this vague outline of like this goal. And I think that's scarier, actually.
Yeah, I think Laura's just saying it's very easy to get lost in the day-to-day and forget to look up every so often. And I think that's what we're saying is like take some time out from doing the work in your business to just have that holistic, view. And also we often need other people to help us with that. And I think that's why we're all coming together to do it. Is like it's sometimes difficult to who was it who says I can't even remember what it was, but you can't see what's written on the other side of the marble jar or whatever. I can't even remember what it was.
Marble jar.
Do you remember what Janine was saying? You can't see. It was something around like you can't see what's written on the other side of the jar or something. It's like very difficult to do it for your own business. So I think the thing about the goals, and actually, Debbie, we were saying we want a New York Times bestseller with our book. So we need to do some smart goals around that, don't we? And break that down, because obviously that's like a huge goal. It hopefully is achievable and realistic. We do believe it is. But
achievable and realistic. Come on, we can do this.
And I think that's the other thing, isn't it? It's about giving yourself goals that really inspire you and excite you. And you think, wow, that'd be amazing if I achieved that. And then obviously, but also making sure that it is achievable and realistic. There's no point, saying I'm going to make £1 million next year if it's just something that is totally not going to be achievable in the time that you've got to do it. And actually it's going to make you feel bad. So I think the SMART goals are really important. And then breaking those down into quarters, into 90 days, because actually we're going to do this process every 90 days. It's sort of like a 90-day planning, and then you can work out what you need to do each week. So, for example, with one of my clients who, she had a goal I think it was to double her profit or her revenue. And we looked back and we basically worked out how many, new clients she needed to get every month. So how many top people did she have to reach out to every day on LinkedIn, and she did that, and she reached out to those people, and she totally smashed her targets and was fully booked with work. So I think if you can break it down into those little steps, so you just know, like, every day or every week I need to connect with one strategic partner, or I need to do something with another brand, or I need to get in touch with 3 people that I used to work with and ask for a testimonial or case study or whatever it might be. Those are achievable things that you can do that don't feel overwhelming, because even getting like all your case studies done, that's kind of overwhelming if it's just like this massive thing. But if you break it down into saying I'm going to do 1 case study a month, and in order to do that I need to do this every week, then it can become achievable content.
And also I think when you've broken it down, you can go, what do I need? What assets do I have? Do I need people to support me with that? Do I need to learn a new piece of software? Do I need a bit of an hour every morning put aside to do that? So I think that's important as well, isn't it? It's like, I've got these goals, I've got the action. Do I need to learn something? Do I need additional people? If you want to write a case study a month, could you find somebody who can help you do that piece of work so that they can, if that's a goal, and they can help you do that. So I think then part of it is like, who do I need in my team?
Yeah.
Or what do I need to learn? And that's really empowering as well, because it's like, God, to get to this thing, I need these people. I need to learn this thing. Then you're like, I'm empowered. I'm equipped. I know who I need in my team. And I just wanted to hark back to something that you kind of said was, if your goal is to make £1 million, but it's burning you out. I think that's really important with goal setting, that it's congruent. It matches the life that you have. You can't, if your goal means that you're going to work 7 days a week, but you've got 2 small children, then that doesn't really make sense with where you are currently in your life. And I think it's about creating goals that fit. There's no point me saying I'd love to speak in New York every month, which I would totally love to, and then go after this goal of getting lots of opportunities to speak in New York, because my teenage daughter would be crying going, where's my mummy? And so while that might feel amazing to me, it doesn't fit with my life, where I am now. And I think we spoke about this before. It's like, what's your version of success? And really grounding you in that, and creating goals that feel congruent, that feel that fit with where you are, and being true to where you want to get to. I've had all sorts of goals, and then I've kind of thought, is that my goal or is that somebody else's goal? Do I think need to be chasing this, or is that healthy for me, or would something feel better? And I'm hoping that through having these conversations that we're going to do in the workshop, that's gonna, you know, we're gonna help each other find that balance, isn't it, between life and work and all of these things that we've got to do, because it's got to fit with where you are, doesn't it?
Yeah, because you can't do everything. That's the thing. So, like, you know, I would love to speak in New York as well, and I would love to. But that's just one of many things I'd love to do. I'd love to write a book. I want to have a TV show. I want to do this. I've also got 4 children, and I want to drop them off at school as much as I can and be there for them when they come home. And I also want to go out and see my friends, and I also want to look after my house, and I want to make £1 million. But, like, you know, I can't do all of those things. And I want to run successful businesses with you, Debbie, and I want to inspire women. But, like, you know, we need to be realistic about what we can do. And sometimes it's about saying, I can't do all of those things now. I can only do some of them, but I can, you know, I can take steps. And also maybe it's like, that is a goal that I want to do at some point in the future, but maybe not this year. Or maybe that is a goal, but I'm not going to achieve it in 2022. I'm going to achieve it later on. But there's some little things I can be doing in the background to get there. But I think that's the super important thing, isn't it? It's about setting these goals which allow us to also be well and healthy and happy, and not to just put so much pressure on ourselves around making money or that side of success, because we've all seen, you know, it's very easy to get burnt out, especially with the sort of year that we've all had in the last year, where we've had, you know, just things have been way more difficult. And so I do believe that you can be very successful, you can make good money, but you can also have a balanced life. And you have that balance by being really strategic, really super focused, by having done that bit of audit work about what does and doesn't work. Because really interestingly, like, all of my clients, my one-to-one clients, they all come from strategic partners, or they come from my network. They don't really come from, you know, or if I get a discovery call from someone who doesn't already know, like, and trust me, they don't convert. And, you know, I'll rarely get a new client that's never heard of me. So for me, I know that my focus is to do stuff with strategic partners and the networking and all those things that I love. And to try and, you know, and to do less of the other things. I could do the other things, but then I can't do my family and my well-being and everything else. So yeah, I think it's super, super important to be realistic, and also think, apart from the sort of monetary success or like the business success, what else is important in your life, and how can you be really strategic and focused about it, so that actually you can have a bit of everything. And let's face it, it's very difficult to have everything, isn't it? You know, we're both mums, we both work, we love our work, we love our families, but, you know, getting that balance and being able to look after yourself and your health is kind of tricky.
Yeah, it's all about the balance, isn't it? But I was just thinking about that, like, idea of us going to New York. Maybe we're going to go to New York speaking together. That's like your bigger picture vision, isn't it? Maybe that's like 5 years down the line. And what we can do to get there is write a book that's going to be a bestseller on the New York Times. And then in a couple, you know, that you're moving towards it. So you can think about what those big goals are, work out whether they're congruent with you now, but it doesn't mean that you can't have them in the future. And actually thinking about how you can build those steps. I was just thinking as well, one of the things that I think is important is kind of setting the intention of how you want to feel in the next year.
You do that word, don't you? What's the word like that you want?
The word of the year, or like you can set the intention, like, this year is going to be the year of yes, and I'm going to say yes to everything, or this year is going to be the year of no, and I'm going to say no to things that I don't want to do, or, you know, whatever that might look like. But I think that's really important as well, is to go into the year empowered and think, how do I want to feel? And, you know, what intention do I want to have, and what feels good to me? And I think that's a really lovely thing to explore, because oftentimes nobody says, well, how do you want to feel? You're like, I don't know. You know,
I want to feel joyous. I feel like I lost a bit of joy this year for a few months, and I really noticed that I lost it. And I think that word for me, that's how I want to feel, because, you know, when we're joyful, we're also like giving out that energy, aren't we, to other people, and making other people hopefully feel that that joy. So, you know, I think that's something we'll do as well, actually, that as part of our workshop, is we will encourage everyone to have that word that they're going to take forward into the year with them. We just decided on that now, didn't we? But I think that's
no. It's in. I've been writing the workbook.
Oh, it's in. Sorry, because this is a piece of Debbie's. So a lot of this is a piece of work that Debbie does. So even though I'm there at the workshop and I'm going to be bringing in all my mission
all the wonderful
stuff,
mission critical bits. Yeah, exactly.
The word of the year is already in there. And what's your word going to be, Debbie? Or do you need, or are you going to be coming up with that in December?
I need to come up with that. I need to come together with a group of fabulous entrepreneurs in the morning of the 11th of January and feel out what feels good to me, I think. Yeah.
Feel what
my
words
word
feel
of the year has been, I've had joy and calm. So I'm like, what's going to come next after joy and calm?
Celebration.
Celebration. There you go.
Celebration.
Well, yeah, I think we're getting to the end of this, aren't we?
Yeah, I was going to say, we always keep these short and sweet, keep them to 20 minutes. So hopefully we'll get to see people on the 11th of January. We'd love to see you. If you can't make it, it's going to be recorded anyway, so you can come along in a virtual way. But we'd love to hear from you. Are you, setting goals? When do you set goals? What are your plans for 2022? And do you do that bit of audit? Do you do that piece of work where you audit what's worked and what's not worked? We'd love to know. So just let us know in the comments, or come and connect with us on social and start that conversation.
Fab. And we'll drop the link below. Come and join us. And if not,